things my narcissistic ex did that were so stupid I didn't even know they were red flags. In fact, I didn't even know what a red flag was. I had never heard of it. I had never heard of a narcissist. I had no idea that these types of people even existed. So after we got married, he was insistent and persistent and demanded that he attend all of my daughter's appointments, particularly my gynecology appointments. What normal man wants to or has any reason to attend his wife's gynecology appointment? To sit in the corner and watch. I'm gonna tell you what kind of man that does that is the one who has something to hide and doesn't want her to talk. The reason that this was more than just weird and uncomfortable was because it created a space that was unsafe for them to ask me questions about why I was hurting, why I was having problems at such a young age. I was 23 at the point. There were things that were happening that should not have been happening down there at that age. They tried to ask me between the lines kinds of questions, or they would say, this looks like trauma. Have you had any issues? While yes, I had had some things happen in the past, there had never been an issue like that. So the problems didn't start until after the wedding. So when they would ask me these questions and he's sitting right there, what am I supposed to say? That's why it was more than just being weird and uncomfortable. I did not want him to go in there with me. We got in knockdown, drag out fights, not physically. We got in some serious fights about it. Instead of respecting the boundary that this was a private space for me to be in, this is girl time. And it was just you don't do that. Instead of respecting that boundary, it was instead what do you have to hide? I don't want somebody down there without me being present. That's just what are you trying to hide? That was the basic. If I was denying him, if I was telling him you can't come, it was always turned around that I was hiding something. What do you want to talk about that you can't talk about in front of me? What do you say to that? The first time I went, I remember being absolutely mortified. I was so upset about him being there. They had to ask, the staff was extremely uncomfortable. They had to get approval for him to go back there. Well, there's nothing that says that he can't. So usually that's for OB. This was not OB, this was just GYN. So they had to get approval. It was so awkward. It was so awkward and uncomfortable. More than that, again, it created the space of lack of safety where they could not ask me questions